News 13 this morning at 4:30 starts now.
Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us. He forgot how our newscast started this morning, and that's what I'm laughing about.
All right.
It's Friday.
So how do we start?
It's Friday.
Okay.
We say good morning.
Okay. Good morning.
I'm Patsy Kelly.
Then what do I say?
Or I'm Matt Gittens.
Okay, and I'm Patsy Kelly. And then I say good morning to James, right?
James.
And I say, hey, he's got the weather.
Morning.
Hey there, James.
Hey.
All right, James, thanks. Well, if you're stuck in traffic because of snow, one thing you can do to pass the time is, do you want to build a snowman?
Sing it, Anna.
Matt knew I was coming with that.
You
That's
love
what one
Olaf.
family did yesterday.
Where's
An
the snowman?
overnight crash left traffic at a standstill on a Pennsylvania interstate. The family got out. There we go. They put on their winter gloves and had some fun on the side of the road. And they even let their dog run around. But look at that. That's a nice sight to see if you're driving by on that highway. Fire crews in Pineville, North Carolina say everyone is safe and okay after a fire tore through an apartment complex yesterday. They say 2 firefighters were treated for heat exhaustion, but it should be okay. It took 40 firefighters from 4 departments to fight it. They don't know how it started yet. The fire marshal is investigating.
News 13 this morning at 5 starts now.
Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Patsy Kelly.
And I'm Matt Gittens. Patsy was blaming James for the weather being cold outside.
I always blame James.
James, I give you credit when it's warm.
Shoot the messenger.
Ooh, I'm going to leave the messenger alone. He's much bigger than me. James Hopkins, take it away.
Hey.
News 13 this morning at 5:30 starts now.
Good morning. Good Friday morning. Happy Friday to you, hopefully, if it's the end of your work week like it is mine.
Yes. Patsy worked 2 days this week, and she's gloating about how she put in a whole week's worth of work.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, it's rough.
I'm exhausted.
James Hopkins
It's a
and I,
rough
meanwhile,
life.
worked 5 days.
Well, officials in America's biggest cities are stepping up security for New Year's Eve.
And what this year meant for police shootings in America.
Plus, people affected by last year's flooding are finally getting the help they need.
News 13 this morning starts now.
Good morning. It is 6 o'clock and it is Friday. I'm not going to talk about the weather because people just yell at me.
Yeah, we yell at you because you complain.
I'm going to
You're going to let me talk about it?
let him talk about it.
I'm looking
not
forward to
saying
next
anything
week
more.
because it's going to be wonderful, and I give James all the credit when things are wonderful. James Hopkins has a look at your weather.
All right, James, thank you. The deadline for North Carolina hurricane victims to register for FEMA disaster assistance is quickly approaching. That deadline is Monday, January 9th. Hurricane victims can download the FEMA mobile app or they can register online with FEMA. So far, Robeson County victims have gotten more than $22 million in aid. One family we spoke with encouraged fellow victims to apply for assistance before it's too late.
And I was just shocked when she come and said, "You ready to move?" I say, "Yes, I am." I couldn't believe it was so fast.
Lumberton and Robeson County officials say it's also a good idea to check out nonprofits like the United Way and some churches in the area. Those organizations are still helping with clothing and furniture for the many people still out of their homes. More than 1 year after the October flooding, some people in Horry County were finally able to apply for assistance from the state yesterday. The recovery program is designed for low-income homeowners. The elderly, disabled, and families with kids 5 years or younger will get first priority. So far in South Carolina, they've had nearly 2,000 applicants, and a little more than half of those are eligible for assistance. About 60 of those applicants are in Horry County.
Horry County has the capacity to manage a rehabilitation program from disasters, and we're happy to be working with the state to ensure that our residents receive assistance for the 2015 flood, and we're hoping to develop a process for the hurricane as well.
Representatives will be in Georgetown County and back in Horry County in January and February. You'll find a list of dates and locations at WBTW.com. The Federal Department of Housing and Urban Development, meanwhile, recently announced it'll give more than $65 million to Hurricane Matthew victims in South Carolina. However, how that money will get distributed hasn't been announced yet.
Meanwhile, medics took a boy to the hospital after police say he fell 3 stories at a Myrtle Beach hotel. Authorities say it happened yesterday at the Long Bay Resort on North Ocean Boulevard. It appears to be an accident. We don't know the boy's condition as of right now. You can't count on News 13 for any updates as they are available. A federal judge ordered another competency exam for Charleston church shooter Dylan Roof. That will happen over the weekend. Last month, he was cleared after an earlier review. Now, the federal judge in the case says He ordered the new evaluation just to be cautious and should rule on Roof's competency on Monday. The penalty phase in Roof's trial is set to begin on Tuesday. He faces life in prison or the death penalty. Now, Roof told the judge again that he wanted to act as his own attorney. The judge told him that that's a bad idea, but said Roof can change his mind and bring back those attorneys up until opening statements next week. A judge scheduled the state's retrial of Michael Slager for March 1st. Again, that's the state trial. The former North Charleston police officer charged with the murder of Walter Scott. Now, earlier this year, a deadlocked jury couldn't decide whether or not to convict Slager. He also faces civil rights charges in federal court. That trial is set to start on May 1st.
On Sunday, part of the border between North and South Carolina will change. The change comes after a 20-year dispute. While it only impacts 16 South Carolina homeowners and 3 in North Carolina, mainly in the general Charlotte area, those affected say it's causing a big headache. The new border goes through some homes, which means those families will have to pay taxes to both states.
It's going right down the middle of our house. It's one side's North Carolina, one side's South Carolina.
We moved here thinking that we would live here until we die in South Carolina.
Children who live in those homes can still go to the same public schools and be eligible for in-state tuition in their original state for the next 10 years. This dispute began in 1995 when a joint boundary commission conducted research to tweak the 334-mile border. Aren't you glad you don't live in that area?
Just off the border. My goodness. Wow. Well, hey, it's a big weekend for Clemson football and Tiger fans. News 13's Julia Morris is in Arizona for the Tigers playoff matchup. She'll have the latest on that game coming up.
And one family knows how to pass the time while stuck in traffic. It's kind of creative. Well, those stories and more when News 13 continues.